All right, Brandon. Most of the time we start off with a question about a major tournament win. But with you, I'm going to start off with something different. You got tasered.
Yes, I did.
How much did it hurt?
It actually, the funny thing is people were asking me, like, oh, it doesn't really hurt, or people were saying to me, oh, it doesn't really hurt. It's just like all of it leading up to being tasered. That's what it is.
Annoying.
No, actually, that's what hurt is when you're actually tasered. That's the part that hurt. It wasn't like the leading up. It actually hurt a lot worse than I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
It was almost just kind of like your funny bone being hit.
Well, where'd you get tasered?
For 5 seconds. It was in the lower back.
I saw the video. I wasn't sure where they were hitting you.
Yeah, it was like the prong things into the lower back.
See, that's crazy because the little handheld ones that did like this. I got tasered by Melissa Costello with one of those ones, and it hurt. So I can't imagine.
Yeah, well, at first I was thinking, oh, I hope they just do the one that goes. That one doesn't look like it's that bad. I mean, maybe it does, but
okay. Give me another scenario where you'd be willing to get tased.
No more tasers for charity. The next one's going in my pocket if I do it.
Yeah. So you didn't get anything off that?
No. I just did it for charity.
I knew it was a bet between you and Cloney.
Between me and Cloney, and it was a last longer bet. So, yeah, I just did it, and however much, we raised $4,000 for charity.
Oh, I can imagine her getting tasered. That would have been funny.
See, that's the thing. It would have been way funnier to see Cloney get tasered than me.
All right, time to shift gears. June 29th, 2006. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, I do.
You survived a field of 2,775 players. At the time, that was the largest field besides the main event, right? Who did you beat heads up? Is it Fong Lai? Is that how you say his name?
No, it's
Phong.
No, that's not it.
Ly.
No, I can't remember his name, but I don't think that is his name.
That is his name.
Okay, well,
I looked it up.
Yes,
if I'm wrong,
you're asking me. Okay.
You went over $750,000. Mm-hmm. That was pretty exciting.
That was exciting. It was,
your first bracelet.
It was my first bracelet, a time I'll never forget.
Yeah. Tell me about the experience. Was it overwhelming?
It was overwhelming, and it was, amazing at the time. Now, it's kind of like, even when you win, nothing is like winning your first one. Your first one is just incredible because you don't know that you can do it. You don't even know that you have it in you. Mm-hmm. So, at least for me, I didn't. Do
you remember feeling like, I'm going to win this during the final table, or were you still...
Well, I came in as chip leader, and I actually really thought I was going to win when I got there. I didn't think that till I got to the final table, and I just I felt that I was a lot better than the competition. Even it was a lot weaker field back then than you see now.
That's always nice to feel like you're the best.
Yeah,
when you're going in.
I felt like I was still starting out in poker, and I still felt like I was the best player at the table.
Well, the kicker is that was your first ever live tournament, wasn't it?
Yeah, first ever what you'd call a card player based tournament.
Yeah. How do you explain the instant success? Was it from playing online?
It wasn't. Yeah, I played online a little bit, and I was playing a lot of 1, 2, 2, 5, no limit back then. Mm-hmm. And then I built up a pretty good bankroll, and I was ready to take 10 or 15 shots that year at the World Series.
Yeah, so you put yourself in.
I was putting myself in.
Awesome
I had all of myself. No chopping back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back before the big World Series of Poker. You were born in Vancouver, Washington?
Yes.
How'd you grow up?
How'd I grow up? I was a little bit of a troublemaker a little bit.
I can see it.
Yeah, troublemaker in high school and just kind of, I don't know.
Bad kid.
Yeah, I wasn't.
He doesn't want to tell me why.
I wasn't a terrible kid. I just was, I didn't get good grades and just kind of found my niche,
I read that your grandfather introduced you to poker. Is that true?
Yes, he did.
How old were you then?
I don't know, about 7 or 8. I actually remember playing. I remember playing for pretty high stakes back then.
When you were 7?
Well, he was giving me money to play, and then somehow I was let in to play with all the adults in the adult card game. Which we were playing 7 stud and AC Deucey and a whole bunch of games. But it was actually I was playing and winning $40, $50 back then.
That's awesome.
It was just when I lost, it didn't come out of my pocket, of course, but
right.
But it was still fun.
And then I heard that you took a little bit of a break. Well, you didn't play poker that much after that time period because you were in school.
Yeah.
But then in high school, you picked it back up?
In high school, we used to play some really high stakes games, really high stakes for back, when you're 16.
For high school?
Yeah, when you're 16, I remember we just seemed to play AC Deucey all the time. And we would have $300-$400 pots, which is just
How did you
huge
get money?
for. Well, I had a job, but I can't even like say that supported it. I guess I was running off this game. I guess I was one of the big winners in the game.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. And that went on all through high school.
Yeah, probably the last 2-3 years of high school that was going on, and then I took another break. And at about 21, that's when I really started playing serious.
That's when it became serious.
Yeah.
And what did you do to become serious? Online mostly.
Online mostly. Yeah, I would really say it was online mostly, and I was in some really good home games back then.
Yeah. So, what was this when you were thinking about playing the World Series of Poker in 2006? Were you scared you were going to lose all your money?
I was a little worried. But I'd been playing a lot live. I mean, I knew I was at the time, even though it's like my first ever tournament, right. I was playing lots of cash games, and I knew I was already like a pro back then, or that's all I was doing for work.
You already considered yourself a poker player?
Yeah, I already considered myself a pro, and I don't know. I was able to just support myself. That's all I was doing to support myself back then.
I think it's different coming from playing even live cash games. Just the feeling of being able to be comfortable at the table is different for some of these guys who've never played live. And they come in and it's a different game. Yeah. So at least you had that.
Yeah. I had a lot of live experience from playing in cash games.
Where were you playing then? What casinos?
I used to just play like 1-2, 2-5, and like it's just little games like MGM and Bally's and Bellagio and
little games like the games I would still play now.
Yeah, well, little compared to $10,000 buy-ins.
Yeah. In a blog you wrote titled "1 Year Later," do you remember this blog?
Maybe.
You said that in 2006 you ran like God, but in 2007 things didn't go so well for you. 2007,
I had a really, really bad year and a tough time. 2006, I actually had a lot of success. I had like $1 million in winnings in 2006.
Yeah. It's like 900,000 compared to like 45,000 in 2007.
Right. To be honest, I wasn't playing well. I kind of thought like success was maybe going to come easy.
Right.
And it didn't. And I think that's what it was. And going into 2008, I completely changed my style of play completely. Like back in 2006, 2007, I used to be really, really tight. Like it took me a lot of live experience to like figure out how to play loose and fast and to make that style work. And it took me like January 2008, just one day. I actually remember the day. Like maybe it was January into February. There was just one day. All of a sudden, I just got it, and I was chip leader of like every single tournament.
I remember that.
Just every single tournament, I became chip leader, and I figured out how to do it and how to like accumulate chips. Back when I won the bracelet in 2006, I was really, really, really tight. Like I didn't play any hands. I just waited for like premium hands, and I played it that way. So
it worked out.
2006, 2007, I do that, and then to 2008, 2009, I completely changed my style.
Yeah. So what do you think went wrong? You were just one of those guys who you had success early, and then you thought, it'll just work out.
Yeah, I just thought it would come easy, and it didn't.
Yeah. Okay, let's fast forward to March 2008, like you were talking about just now. San Jose, California. I remember this tournament. I was there. Too. You put in a pretty dominating performance, don't you think?
Yeah. That's the most fun tournament I've ever played. And I would say that's